Welcome to our weekly program, The Inside Story of Chabad in America through the Middle Archives. I mentioned many times that years ago I taught in Yeshiva Brooklyn. It's a Litvische Yeshiva because the Rebbe wanted I should be in that Yeshiva. I had offers in other yeshivas later for more money, more pay, and I asked the Rebbe says no, I should stay in Yeshiva Brooklyn, even though I got paid much less. And I didn't know why. But Baruch Hashem, these Talmidim that I taught in Yeshiva Brooklyn, some of them now are Rosh Yeshivas in Lakewood, in Eretz Yisrael. Some of them are in Baltimore. Some of them are Rabbonim. We're still in touch. And once in a while we fabrate together. I don't know, this was years ago. But we're still together. These are Litvische, Rosh Yeshivas, Rabbonim. So, and they tell me that they listen to this program. So we fabrated a few weeks ago. We had a gathering. So they asked me why the Rebbe is in touch with the whole world, which they understand. He's in touch with politicians from Eretz Yisrael. The Rebbe, the whole world, governors, doctors, lawyers, from Yidden, not from Yidden, even Goyim, Sheva Mitzvahs Ben Noyach. But they mentioned, why isn't he in touch? They didn't hear, at least that's what he said, that he's in touch with the Gedolei Hador. They call it the Gedolei Hador, or other Chassidish Rabbeim. And since they're listening to this program, so I want to mention, since today, Tainis Esther is the yortzeit of Harav Hagon, Rav Moshe Feinstein Zatzal. I want to read to you in Hebrew a letter that he wrote to the Rebbe. About the Rebbe. And I remember when I was teaching the Yeshiva Brooklyn, when he passed away, Harav Moshe Feinstein Zatzal, they asked me if they can go to the Levaya, and I gave him reshus to go to the Levaya. So I want to share with you a letter that he wrote about the Lubavitcher Rebbe. But before I share with you, I want to give you a few examples how the Rebbe was in touch with other Rabbeim and other Rosh Yeshivas, very much involved. And by the way, years ago, in the late 40s, the early 50s, I think Torah Das was in trouble then, and they needed money. They wrote to the Rebbe, I have letters, and the Rebbe sent them a lot of money. The Rebbe gave him encouragement not to close the yeshivas. There's a different, not Chofetz Chaim, there's other yeshivas. Anyways, the Rebbe was involved with Rosh Yeshivas. Now, I want to share with you, let's say the Kleisenberger Rebbe, the old Kleisenberger Rebbe, when he wasn't well, he sent a delegation to the Rebbe. Rabbi Williger was the head of this delegation, and he asked the Rebbe should give him a refuah shleima. And they were by the Rebbe, and the Rebbe, of course, gave best regards to the Kleisenberger Rebbe. The Rebbe asked him that he heard that he's doing what I'm doing. He also learns Chumash Rashi. And the Rebbe asked him when did he start and why he started that. Some things they knew the answer, some things they didn't know. I remember that Rabbi Williger said that the Rebbe asked him, when does he speak Shabbos? Before Kriyas HaTorah or after Kriyas HaTorah? So they said before Kriyas HaTorah. So the Rebbe said, Torah Shebiksav comes before Torah Shebal Peh. So they didn't know the answer. So then they went back and the Rebbe was waiting for the answer. The Rebbe asked again he wants an answer. So they said that the Kloisenberg Rebbe said that before he speaks, he always says a pasuk, Torah Shebiksav, because Torah Shebiksav is before Torah Shebal Peh. Excuse me. Also, I remember the Satmar Rebbe, the old Satmar Rebbe Yoel. My father-in-law told me, he was Rabbi Mindel. He was very close with Shazar, the prime minister. Very close. Shazar told Rabbi Mindel that when he was by the Rebbe once, he mentioned the Satmar not bichvaydai. So the Rebbe grabbed a hold of his hand and he said, stop. There is a heilig mensch. The Rebbe did not let him continue. The Rebbe went to be Menachem Ovel, the Satmar Rebbe, in 1954, 55, when he lost his daughter. The Satmar Rebbe came to be Menachem Ovel, the Rebbe, when the Rebbe said Shiva for Rebbe Tzedechane, for the Rebbe's mother. I think they spoke over there. One of the things they spoke was, the Satmar Rebbe asked the Rebbe, why do we say HaMokem Yinachim Eschem? Why not HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Mokem means a place. The Eibishter is called a place because the Eibishter is everywhere. But why use that lotion? So I think the Satmar Rebbe said, I don't know. So the Rebbe says, Adorva Pashut. Every person has a mokem in this world. But that mokem is bagrenitzt. It's a gvul. The person is there. Now the person is not there. So that mokem is bli gvul. So the achai yiten aliboy, that mokem is menachem. To learn out from that person, now we can learn much more than before. I think they also spoke, I don't know, it was the Satmar Rebbe, excuse me, or maybe it was another Rebbe. He has to be, the Gemara says, Poishe Yisrael Mola Mitzvahs Karimain. So Marashach, if he's a Poishe Yisrael, how can they be Mola Mitzvahs Karimain? I'm not sure, I think it was a Satmar. So the Rebbe answered, I also have a question. If he's Mola Mitzvahs Karimain, how can he be a Poishe Yisrael? Is the glass half empty or half full? Depends how you look. Now, by the way, Rabbi Kotler, Olav Hasholim, was also there by the Satmar when the Rebbe was there, and the Rebbe and the Satmar Rebbe were talking. Then he turns to the Satmar Rebbe and he says, can I know what you're talking about? So the Satmar Rebbe says, this is not for you. This is what happened then. Anyways, so the Rebbe was in touch with other Rabbeim. The old Skolena Rebbe, big tzaddik, he did a lot in Pidyon Shvuyim from Romania. The Rebbe helped him. I remember he was once by Fabringen Yutas Kislev. He was by the Rebbe. The Rebbe used to come out to Shachris, Kriyas HaTorah, Monday and Thursday in the beginning years. And the Skolena was there. The Rebbe gave him his aliyah. The Rebbe always got shlishi, but the Rebbe said he should give him the aliyah. I remember the Rimnitzer Rebbe. They say that he was Balruch HaKodesh. A lot of stories from him. He went into the Rebbe with the Gabbai. He was a Chaver of Mendel Futafas back in Russia. So he was by the Rebbe with his Gabbai. I mean, there's a lot of things. Horav Hutner, before he passed away, he asked the Rebbe for a bracha. And I have a letter from our Rav Hutner. I mean, the people behind Beli should know that he asked the Rebbe for a bracha for a child. He didn't have children. The Rebbe gave him a bracha. He had a daughter, one daughter. That's all he had. Bruya. A couple of years ago, she passed away. So we see that there was involvement. The Balzer Rebbe was by the Rebbe. Pichas Menachem. We have a whole thing over at Pichas Menachem. When the Simcha Bunim, the Gerer Rebbe after the Beis Yisrael, the Rebbe by Farbrengen gave him a bracha. Yarich Yomim HaMamlachtei, a whole thing. I remember. So, I just want to show you how much the Rebbe was involved with other Rabbeim. There's a story, we come from Cleveland. Harav Gifter, Olav Hasholem, he once told my father, I want to tell you something, but please, I'm begging you, tell this to the Lubavitcher Rebbe. He says there was a Bacha in Telz that spoke the Rebbe not bishvachai. So I called him over. He said, and I said to him, I heard you spoke at the Lubavitcher Rebbe not bishvachai. He says he's definitely from the G'doylei Hador. He says to my father, tell the Rebbe that I said. He's definitely from the G'doylei Hador. I heard. So he said, did you? The Bacha said, yeah. He says, take your peklach, he said the word chimadan, your suitcase. Take a Greyhound bus years ago and go to the Rebbe and ask Bechila. Take off your shoes, ask Bechila. And when I will find out that you asked Bechila, then I'll take you back. He left. Tell this to the Rebbe. Please, he says, tell this to the Rebbe. He wants the Rebbe should feel good. So my father, when he went into Yechidus, he told this to the Rebbe. So the Rebbe leaned back. The Rebbe Bechlal, by Yechidus, never leaned back. Same thing as by Farbrengen, the Rebbe never leaned back. So the Rebbe leaned back. And it says, Rob gegangen, a helle behester of Chassidus. Helle behester, kicked out of Chassidus. He think gesagt. So now, I want to, and there's much more we have than time. I want to read the letter. This is written in Lashon Kodesh, and this is translated in English. What Hargoen, Rav Moshe Feinstein Zatzal, wrote about the Rebbe. I want to read this letter now. Today's his yahrzeit. With the help of God, Rosh Chodesh Shvat, 5738. Regarding the health condition of the Goen and Tzaddik, the Lubavitcher Rebbe Shlita, who devotes his nights and days for the furtherance of Torah and strengthening Judaism, and to bring Jews closer to our Father in heaven, I appeal to all rabbis, wherever they may be, to speak in the synagogues and Bati Medrashim, to awaken their congregants about the popular Mivtzoyim, mitzvah campaign of the Lubavitcher Rebbe to enable Jews to observe the mitzvah of tefillin, mezuzah, lighting Shabbos candles, and more. Since the entire yearning of the Goen and Tzaddik of Lubavitch Shlita is to bring Jews closer to their Father in heaven. And it is already well known that through the above mentioned mitzvah campaign, thousands of Jews have become observant of Torah mitzvahs. It is therefore certain that every activity in the affirmation, Mivtzoyim, will strengthen his health, and most certainly that all things being done by the Lubavitcher Rebbe are great things to bring Jews closer to the precepts of the Almighty God and pure faith in God. And it is a great deed to make sure that they all be fulfilled. and the Almighty God should send him a speedily recovery. This is probably after the Rebbe had a heart attack, I think. He should be able to do for the honor of heavens and fulfilling the mitzvah of the Almighty God and the learning of Torah till the coming of Mashiach. And Ramoshe Feinstein Zatzal signs this letter. So we see the connection between the Rebbe and other G'dayla Yisrael. Now, talking about Ramoshe, I want to tell you one Maaseh that a person wrote to the Rebbe the story. He had tzveikis in Emunah. He had doubts in the Eibishter. So he wrote to Rabbi Moshe. That person wrote to the Rebbe what Rabbi Moshe said. Later on, I found this, he wrote also in the Jewish press. So Rabbi Moshe asked him, how do you get up in the morning? So he says, he gets up, he lives not far from a church bell. And at 6 o'clock in the morning, the bell rings, and that wakes him up. He says, move right away. And he moved, and all the fakers went away. He wrote this, there's a letter, he wrote this to the Rebbe, this thing. So the Rebbe answered, Shuas Chay, the Rebbe was very happy to hear. So we see the connection between tzaddikim, what tzaddikim can do. In Mitzvah Hashem, next week, we will continue our weekly program. Thank you.